Hi, guys, it's Michelle. You all know me as Giggles as well. Thank you so much for 14,000 subscribers. It is a total God sent blessing. Thank you so much for your continued support. I really appreciate it. And now I am going to do the thing where I answer your guys' questions. So here we go. Jerry, the cartoonist, asks, "How are you doing today? I hope all is going well for you." I'm doing pretty okay. It's been up and down, but I'm doing good. 2, have you auditioned for any more voice roles? If so, what's the process like? It's been sort of a dry season, but I have auditioned for things like lately. I've also been doing a little more theater auditions, which is really, really nice. The process for voiceover auditions is typically, and they're all a little different depending on where they come from, but I will have the material, I follow the directions, I do the lines, if I can. I like to do like an ABC format. So, like line one, line two, line three, and then again, like another separate batch of takes. And then I clean up the audio unless they ask me not to. And then I just email them and send it to them with any other links that they might have asked for. And yeah, that's the process. And hopefully I hear back. 3, do you enjoy listening to audio dramas? If so, what kinds? I have a few good horror suggestions if you're interested. I haven't listened to audio dramas for a while. If I'm being honest, I think I've really participated in them, but I haven't really like listened to well, that's not true. I have listened to a few, but I'm not like a frequent audio drama listener. I'm always like doing something. I'm always trying to be productive or work on something. So I have been not so great at like watching movies and reading books or like, listening to audio dramas. 4, have you ever heard of Open Tunes? It's a free animation software that's actually pretty good. LOL, I keep trying to put you on this free studio stuff. I have. You told me about it, and I literally have it like in a tab. I've like saved it, and I still have yet to open it up because as productive as I try to keep myself, I also at times get very overwhelmed, which ends up with me not doing anything. So I'm trying to alleviate that. I'm trying to really work on that. God help me this year, please. 5, if multiverse was real and you met a different version of yourself, do you think they would act the same or be completely different? I used to tell, I think, Mr. Creepypasta, he asked me this, or it came up somehow in conversation. I told him if I met like an alternate universe me, I feel like she would be really mean. Like she'd have a huge pride issue and she would have like, I don't know, gotten everything she wanted or something. That's basically Giggles. That's basically the croupier. She is the multiverse version of me, and she's not my biggest fan. So that answers that question. Number 6, do you ever miss the old creepypastas? Nothing's wrong with the new ones. I just miss when the stories were experimental. I guess I miss when it was still trying to find its footing and authors threw everything at the wall. LOL. It didn't always work, but when it worked, it worked. Yeah, there's times where I do miss the old creepy pastas. Part of me feels like I can't really call myself a creepypasta narrator anymore because like authentic creepypasta just hasn't really been done. It's all really just horror stories. Um I do miss old creepypastas because there was kind of that element of like, is this real? It was like it really was an online urban legend. So I do miss them. It's a fun little nostalgic thing. 7, I have to ask, I do. I ask every Q&A. Are you still working on your original projects? I only pester you because I really enjoy your concepts, LOL. Okay, see, I am. I swear, I promise I am. I feel like I've had all these stories trapped in my head since I was like 15, 16, like 10 years plus. Um, I've been talking to some animators and musicians and other actors. The sad thing is that sometimes those people get really busy, or I just never hear back from them, or things fall through. But I am actively trying to work on stuff. I've been writing, like, and finalizing some scripts more. I could do that more, but yeah, the ones that I do have ready, it's mostly I'm waiting on other people. I really should follow up on that. 8, how do you feel about yes, thank you. AJ Pony AP's channel asks, "What's your favorite slash least favorite fruit or vegetable?" Favorites, I really like avocados and blueberries and tomatoes. My least favorite fruit is probably papaya. My favorite vegetable is Brussels sprouts and broccoli, and I like carrots. And when it comes to and I like, zucchini a lot too. When it comes to my least favorite, I don't know if this is a vegetable, whether it's a vegetable or a fruit or not, I just don't like it. I don't like cucumber. For some reason, it just makes me sick. It gives me, like, a horrible headache. I can't function for the rest of the day. I don't think I'm allergic, but my friend says that I might be intolerant. So that's probably what it is. I don't know what it is with me and cucumbers. I can't do it. Another one. If you're a Pegasister, why haven't you done any MLP fanfictions readings? I wouldn't really call myself a Pegasister, so I'm not really a Pegasister. I really liked the cartoon, but I wasn't like a mega fan of it. You know what I was really into was Sonic fan characters. When I was in middle school, that was before people said OCs. Before OCs, it was fan characters. I had 9 of them. If there is a Pegasister equivalent for Sonic, I was one of them. Still Needleworker 11 says, looking back, what has been your best memory of this channel, aside from all the amazing subscribers, of course? Yeah, you guys are a really great memory. It's really cool reading everyone's comments and seeing how people are like, oh, this like really helped me during like my night shift, or like this made my day, or like, oh, right on time. Like that makes me feel really, really happy that I can be giving something to people. When it comes to like a best memory, I can't, oh man, I want to say it's probably going to be a really, really early one. There was a time where I was doing reactions to creepypastas. Yes, I know, very boring, but very ahead of its time because that was like I don't know, I want to say like 13 years ago. I was doing reactions to other people's narrations before I was a narrator, and I was a big fan of Mr. Creepypasta and Creeps McPasta before we became friends. When they commented on my videos, like these two people that I really looked up to and thought were so awesome, I was like, "Oh wow, they totally like acknowledged me." It was a really, really cool thing. It was very funny. Icy Narrates asks, choose any of the following. Man, I'm answering all your questions. When do you put up your Christmas decorations? So I I don't. I don't have a whole bunch of like decorations for any holiday really. Maybe it's because like I don't really have like the space for it. I just haven't really been festive in that way. I think it'll probably change once like I have like a space to do that in. But yeah, typically I just don't really put up decorations. I'm very boring. Are you all about that bass or all about that tenor? I like all of them. I like bass, baritone, and tenor. I think all male voices are just 10 out of 10. I will say though, as a soprano, it's really fun hanging out with the bass and being like, "Oh, look how low you can sing and look how high I can sing. Isn't that cool?" And with tenors, it's like, "Ooh, look, we can both sing really high. Ooh, it's so much fun." And then with baritones, it's just like, "Dude, we can both sing. Look, you can go all over the place, man." It's just fun. What D&D class or subclass are you, official or homebrew? Okay, so I play bard the most and I love being a bard, and also if we're applying it to real life, I would also fit bard the most because I just never stop singing. Is there a horror movie you could survive if you were the protagonist? Oh man. Probably Nightmare on Elm Street. I feel like I'm really good at dreams. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that. That's my answer. I'm really good at dreams. You have to be in a cheesy Hallmark movie for Christmas. What character type or trope are you playing? Oh my gosh. Oh man, I feel like there's only one type. There's only like, the girl who's like I've given up on love. I'm scarred. I threw myself into my business and my work, but now I find myself back in my hometown, and what do you know? It's that guy from way back when, and we were going to fall in love again, but I don't want to admit it. I think that's the only character that there is in a Hallmark movie, and thus it's the character that I would play, I suppose. Say your book becomes a global phenomena. Would you rather it be adapted into a film, a musical, a TV show, or a game first. Oh, that's painful. So it's gonna get adapted as all of those. It's just what would I want it to be adapted as first? Definitely a musical. I was trying to like weigh it out and make sure that that was the right decision, but then I remembered that's always the right decision. So definitely a musical. Rent Nerd 87 asks, do you prefer NYC Heathers or UK Heathers? I personally love the set for the UK version, but hate the book revisions, and I'm not a huge fan of the original UK cast album. Right. Okay. This is an amazing question. I love the original Heathers, which is the NYC Heathers. I understand why they did the revisions, like, I really do. However, I also feel like the UK maybe kinda spoon feeds it, like, this is, like, a conversation that people, like, should be having to know, "Okay, yeah, we can laugh at that, but understand that this is, like, not an okay situation," you know? I'm talking about, like, Blue versus You're Welcome. I think both of them are good songs, but having been Veronica, I just had so much fun playing Veronica in Blue, you know? I trusted both of the guys. No one was ever creepy off stage, etc. Everyone was always very respectful. That went both ways. Like, I think the original cast was amazing. Loved it. Couldn't really get into the UK cast. Maybe that's me on bias because I'm so used to the OG. But yeah, that's my answer. Favorite movie musical adaptation and least favorite movie musical adaptation. Oh my gosh. Favorite movie musical adaptation, I want to say Chicago. I do like Fiddler on the Roof too. I think that as far as movie musicals go, those were made in an era where they were at least more respected, taken seriously. And even though there's little nitpicks I could have here and there, I did really enjoy both of those film adaptations. Least favorite movie musical adaptation? Oh gosh. Sweeney Todd and also Mean Girls. Mean Girls, I can maybe kind of let some stuff slide, but Sweeney Todd is my favorite musical. I love Sweeney Todd so much because it's so rich in lessons of what not to do, etc. And the music is beautiful. The characters are just done so well. And I feel like as much as I love Tim Burton's original stuff, I really have not been a fan of like his reimaginings like as of late. I think that the film adaptation of Sweeney Todd has missed so much from the stage, and I was just in the stage musical earlier this year, and I was just like, "Oh, this is the good stuff. Like, this is the stuff that Tim Burton's film was missing," you know? They cut songs and everything, like, Joanna, like, barely sings in the movie, and she's, like, my dream role, and they cut, like, the coolest song ever of all time, which was in the musical. They cut it, and it doesn't exist in the movie, and that makes me sad. So, yeah, least favorite movie musical adaptation is definitely Sweeney Todd because the stage version is so much better. Do you think Into the Woods 2014 would have been better if Johnny Galecki would have played the baker instead of James Corden? I just keep picturing him in the role and it makes so much sense. I have a lot of problems with Into the Woods 2014 because I feel like it's all a Sondheim stuff. Whenever Sondheim gets adapted to film, and I don't mean like West Side Story, I'm talking about Sweeney Todd and Into the Woods and whatever else people might be putting on the chopping block. I feel like they always do him dirty because he's literally one of the hardest like ask anybody in musical theater, they'll say Sondheim is hard. If you have him on your resume, good for you. It's extremely hard to learn, it's extremely hard to do, but that's what makes it so amazing. And I feel like so many film adaptations of Sondheim musicals like slow something down or they don't get it right or they have to really conform to the actors when it's like me and other musical theater people have been training to get this right, like to get that role right, to make sure we can sing up to that note, we can sing with perfect diction up to that pace. So it just kind of feels like a slap in the face when like you've been in a show and you get the pattern, you get the high notes right, but then the movie adaptation like slows it down or like makes it lower. It's like you guys could have got someone who could like do Sondheim, but it's okay. I understand you want your star power to make sure that people watch the movie. Sorry, that was a tangent. As for James Corden, if I'm being totally honest, I'm not very familiar with Johnny Galecki. But James Corden has been in enough movie musicals. He's fine, but it would be nice to see other people in roles. So, yeah, why not? My dog 1974 asks, I know it's not up to you, but I haven't seen any more Mad Whip. Whoa. That's a threat. I'm just kidding. This person responded to them. Chair Mick said, I recall Mr. Creepypasta said in his live stream that he is saving up to hire Miss Giggles for the next installment. Yes, that is correct. We both got bills to pay, but we'll get that to you soon. The Panguisitor says, I remember when you were a tiny channel. Now 14K. Congrats. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Kooky Coconut asks, how do you feel about raccoonies? I always kind of liked raccoons ever since I read Where the Red Fern Grows for some reason. They're almost like little mimes. Chair Mech asks, a few questions, if I may ask. How could you be so kind and willing to sacrifice your Patreon for your lovely cause? Um, well, the truth is I can't take credit. The credit is God's. I've been praying for God to grow me in humility because I will be the first to admit that I have a pride issue. So I've been praying for God to help me to like take steps to not only work on that but also like genuinely help other people. I've been seeing other creators like who have more subscribers than me like not really like give back to people, and then, of course, I did see even larger creators get like criticized for not like helping or doing charity. And then I was like, I should do that. I would honestly want to be that person that does help with like different causes and people's. So earlier this year, I can't quite remember, but it was like it's been going on for like a few months now. I'll try to like go on GoFundMe or like if natural disaster relief. Like I know there's been fires in my area. There's been like storms on the other side of the country. I've been trying to get links to donate to. I'm pretty privileged. I am sitting in a house right now with my laptop and a microphone that I saved up years ago to buy. And other people don't have these kind of luxuries right now. So I was thinking, you know what, if somebody who's like giving, let's say like $10 or something on my Patreon is like, oh, like I would love to give to that charity that you linked, Giggles, but like I'm also subscribed to your Patreon and I just can't swing both. I thought at the time of like making that outro on all my videos for November that if they did take out the $10 from me and gave it to charity, that would be totally fine. And I'm happy with that because I recognize that even though I'm not the most wealthy, I'm also not the poorest. And it could be going to someone who will actually like benefit from that rather than me like, I don't know, potentially buying something off of Mercari or Depop or well, I guess I could buy myself food, but you know what I mean. Like I can make food at home, you know? So it's good that it goes to people. Anyways, that was a way longer answer than I intended to give. I'm so sorry. I am a chatterbox. But yeah, that was my heart behind that. I want to help where I can, even if it's a little bit. Be Aphrodite, Lily Madwhip, Croupier, Charlie Morningstar, or Giggles, so many personas. Who is your favorite? Well, I didn't create all of those, but I did create one of them, Giggles. So even though it was a total kick, Somni asking me to sing as Aphrodite, and then Mr. Creepypasta having me on as Lily Madwhip, and I have been like told by many people that Charlie is such a me character, which really flatters me because I love her. I think she's very much a me character. My favorite is the one that I made, the Croupier, aka Giggles, because she's something that I have had for more than 10 years. She faced many, many redesigns. She's very special to me, even though she's like obviously not the most incredible character. She's very special to me. So she's my favorite. Lastly, if permitted, would creating a creepypasta be a nice tribute for our beloved narrator? Cheers. Yes, I actually really love it when people have written creepypastas and send them to me. I don't always pick them just due to like certain things, but if it fits, like, you know, if it's appropriate, if I could play it, etc., if it's like not super, super crazy long, I am more than happy to do that. So yeah, if you write a creepypasta and you have me in mind to narrate it, go ahead and email me at moralsandvirtues@gmail.com. And yeah, Benny Julius Muse 7 in, I'm so sorry if I got that wrong, asks, can we get a vlog channel? It's funny you asked that because I actually, at the time of making this video, I just filmed for my first video essay. I don't think vlogging is really for me. I kind of tried that like earlier on this channel. If you go back enough, you could see me doing like monthly favorites, things that I just was into for that month or whatever. I tried vlogging, but I really, really want to get into video essays because I think that while I don't have like the most incredible things to say all the time, I feel like I have some pretty good points every now and then, and I would like to share that with people. So I'm actually gonna put that on my other channel, the Michelle Renee Harris channel, sometime soon, hopefully. Gravity Guile asks, are you going to make your own horror/creepypasta book? If you did, what will it be about? So I don't really write books. I write scripts. I like making little fairy tales. I want to make like animated musicals and stuff. But if I had to answer this question, if I was writing a horror creepypasta book, it would be about this one concept that I have thought about for a hot minute. It's just fun. It would be about a bunch of actors who auditioned for this musical or something, this like, once in a lifetime thing. They all get cast, but they're like kidnapped and they have to get the whole story right. Like they can't call a line or, they have to get all their harmonies right. They can't like miss a beat. And if they do, they get like eliminated. That would be kind of interesting. Mutant Dog Fangs asks, do you enjoy fantasy fiction or stories that are better grounded in reality? I like both of those. I really like reality, but fantasy is definitely like, it's like my whole thing in terms of like how I write. So I probably write that way because I enjoy watching fantasy so much. But I think like the sweetest spot is like reality with a little bit of whimsy, just a little whimsy, a little sprinkle sparkle of a little whimsy. Yeah. Also, I notice you don't swear much in vids. Is that a conscious choice? Yes and no. I mean, it is conscious in the way where I am a devout Christian, so I do not want to be a person that swears. That said, I did have like a problem, like not even super long ago, where I wouldn't say the F word, but I would say like a smaller version of it. So like FRIGGIN, just like casually. Um, but then I had to start like consciously being like, I should really not say that anymore. Like if it slips out once in a while, whatever, but I should really like work on not saying that. When it comes to like other bad words, it's not really much of a conscious choice because I've just never really been one to say them. So I just don't think about it and I just don't really say those words. And yeah, haven't missed them. Thank you so much for all the work you put into the channel, by the way. Your voice is so nice to listen to. Criminally underrated. Oh my gosh, thank you. That's really, really sweet. Thank you so much for telling me that. Alan Stapp 5502 says, I don't know if you watched it, but as a Christian, what is your opinion of Has Been Hotel? As a Christian myself, I thought it was fantastic, but I'm curious what a musical lover and fellow Christian thinks. So at the current moment, I have only seen the pilot episode, which I loved. I think the concept is so genius and well-meaning. That said, I haven't seen the show yet. I do really like, as much as I miss the pilot cast, I do like that they have a bunch of Broadway people in the cast because, I'm a theater person. As a Christian, I do want to say we're like, I've never really liked movies that were like about demons and stuff. So it's something where like if I did watch the series, I don't have Amazon Prime, but if I got it, I would probably watch it. But I would definitely like pray before and after the episodes just because I just want to be really mindful about those things. But I will say I love the characters, love the art design. The concept is amazing and it would be really nice to see it one day. I would just pray before and after it. I remember you saying that you were working on some original interconnected fairy tales and stories. How are those going? So we're a little stalled, mostly because I will reach out to an animator or a storyboard artist or a musician, and I'll be like, "Hey, want to make this thing with me? Here's all the stuff." And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then they'll get busy and it just like won't happen. And then the real thing is I just need to start following up with them more because it's been going on for way too long. And this is like a common occurrence for like years and years. And I have a good feeling about this time around. So I really need to follow up with people. Part of me was like, I don't want to bother them during Halloween and Thanksgiving, but maybe now is the time while everyone's on like winter break. I'll bother them for Christmas. That would be really cool to get out to you guys because as nervous as I am about it, I feel like you guys might really like my ideas and my stories. So, yeah. Noah Lynch 7913 asks, "What's your favorite book?" So, I'm not a super huge bookworm, especially like the older I get. However, I'll throw out a couple that I really really enjoyed. Um Really loved Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. That was like core memory nostalgia for me. It just triggered my imagination. There's a book called Faithfully Different, which I really like because I feel like Faithfully Different is very like against legalism and is just straight to the point like, hey, we need to eliminate this problem or, we need to speak more intentionally. This is a thing that people who say that they're following God do, and it does not reflect very well. So I really, really dig that. And I thought it was all like out of love and very authentic. So I really like that. Also, really like screw tape letters because the perspective is amazing. For those of you who don't know what screw tape letters is, it's written by C.S. Lewis, the author of Narnia. And like he was a Christian man. Like this is like irrefutable. C.S. Lewis was a Christian man. This concept is so scary that it's amazing that he, especially at the time this was written, got this out. And like, I can't imagine what people in his life must have been like talking about or maybe even discouraging him on because it's frightening. So, the Screw Tape Letters is about Screw Tape, who is like the principal or dean or something of this college in hell for demons. And basically, they raise up these young demons, send them to Earth to mess people up and ensure that they go to hell. So, the Screw Tape letters, it's not without its comedy either, which is great. So all these letters that Screw Tape is writing is addressed to his nephew Wormwood, who like is really horrible at his job. So it's mostly Screw Tape just being like, "Stop it. Just get good already. Just be why can't you be like me?" It's like it's a little hilarious, but it's also like very scary if you believe in the spiritual realm that this there is an element of truth in this and how we're all targets, etc., just being messed with. It's a big eye opener. It really makes me like think, wow, that's so real. Thank God that I've got God and God's got me. And then, of course, as cliche as this sounds, I do love the Bible. Guys, I had a time where I just was not going to church. I just felt so like judged and like I was too different that, people couldn't really like me. God's been really alleviating that a lot in my life recently. So I've been going to life group again. I've been going to church again. And most importantly, I've been reading the Bible again. And it's like the saturation has been turned up in the Bible. It's like I could better understand it. And I'm really grateful for that. And it just reminds me really how much God loves me. It's also really encouraging to see the progress that I've made when I look back and being like, wow, like, look how much God has grown me in this amount of time or even this short amount of time. So, yeah, lately, the one that I've really been like throwing myself into is the Bible. And I'm really, really grateful for that. And I hope that that can continue. And now the trick is I need to retain more. I've memorized a handful of verses. I need to memorize more because I would like to just think about those in my day to day life. Like if something happens, I would just like to have them on hand to remind myself. So that's what I'm working on. What's your favorite fictional character? Probably Snow White. Not necessarily the Disney version. I like the traditional fairy tale Snow White. she's been sort of a role model to me as far as fairy tales go because she makes like joy out of any circumstance. And she also like invited her stepmother to the wedding after like, she tried to have her killed like so many times. So it's been encouraging to me that that's what fairest of them all means, which ironically, that's what my first video essay may or may not be about. Who knows? Do you like Jekyll and Hyde the musical? I sure do. Love meaning me, love meaning you. Oh my gosh. Have you seen David Hasselhoff as Jekyll and Hyde? Oh, it was it was great. It was a treat. Also, what's your favorite mythical creature? Oh, I love this question. Okay. So, I have 3. Maybe more, honestly. We'll see. I really like unicorns the best because I know that people like, unicorns have been kind of sissified in media as of late. I think like with the last like I don't know, 20, 30 years maybe. When I think of unicorn, I think of like the movie The Last Unicorn where, only women, like, young pure women can see it, but also they're like just this vision of purity and courage and innocence. I've always like loved those quality traits. And also white's my favorite color and they're often depicted as being all white, so it's just like this beautiful unique horse that is just gorgeous and has like an amazing morale behind it. But I also really like dragons. I think they're so cool. I think they're awesome as villains and they're awesome as like kind of like more wise creatures. They're just beautiful and majestic and I think that they're fabulous. I also really love phoenixes. I love the whole rising from the ashes thing. It's something that I think about a lot. And I like griffins. Beach or mountain kind of person. Haven't really been up in the mountains a lot, but I am definitely a beach person. I am half Filipino. My mom came here from the Philippines. So her side of the family, like quite literally everyone, their whole aesthetic is like tropical, beach, ocean, nautical. So I'm very much a beach person. I love going to the beach and just jumping into the water and hunting for seashells. That is what I do. Why do I feel like I'm on like that dating game, like in that Anna Kendrick movie, Blind Date? That's how I feel when I answer these questions. Oh gosh, that would be a good creepypasta. That would wait, hold on, let me change my book thing. That's what it'll be. Someone write me a creepypasta where I'm the date and there's 3 scary guys, but I have to pick one of them. That would be kind of an interesting story. Yeah, if someone does that, I'll get 3 of my guy friends to voice the other characters and we'll audio drama it. Anti-Villain Wolf says, I have 5 questions. LOL. 1. How do you choose what stories you narrate on your channel? I've noticed the majority of the stories you have on here are not so well-known ones, your most popular creepypasta being the Tales from the Diner series, and was curious what your selection process is like. Right, so I tend to pick ones that I can play. I put like my actor selling point first because I'm like, I want it to be something that I could really like play and just kind of have fun with as well. Depending on how I'm feeling that day. Sometimes I have auditions, sometimes I'm just tired, etc. Sometimes I don't want to like wreck my voice. So I try to pick stories that like maybe will be 10 minutes or like 13 minutes. I don't want them to be too short, but I also can't do like super long ones all the time, especially if I've been like yelling and screaming all day, or I've been like in rehearsals, or I've been acting, or like I said, anticipating an audition. I don't want to like blow out my voice or wreck any chances of it being at 100%. So I try to go for stories in the middle. And then on days when I feel I can swing it, I'll do like an extra long one, which have been like, the occasional 30-minute stories, etc. 2, are you part of any group or team at your church? Something like worship, media, greeting, etc. It's funny you asked this because I used to work with the kids a lot. Like I said earlier, there was a time where I just like was not going to church. I'm back now. I've realized that I need to heal from a lot of church hurt. I want to make a disclaimer that this has nothing to do with God. God is amazing. He's always good. Sometimes people, obviously, we're flawed and we have sin and, personalities clash and we don't always understand each other or show the best compassion to each other. So I have recently realized I do need to heal from some church hurt. That doesn't mean that I'm walking away from God. I love God and I am back at my church. So my mom has been wanting me to do worship for a really long time. I was on the worship band when I was younger, but I felt like I was treating it like a me thing rather than a God thing, and I didn't like that. I felt ashamed, so I did stop doing that. That was years ago, though. That was, like, when I was in high school. Now, like, maybe for the last few months, I have been thinking I should start serving again now that I am back at church. Maybe now is the right time for me to return to worship. I feel like I'm still waiting on God. I still need to do a little bit more healing before I can jump into that. But it is something I have been seriously considering. So, yeah, and I will continue to pray on that. Thanks for asking me that. 3, has someone ever come up to you recognizing your face or voice and asked if you were Little Ball of Giggles from YouTube? Yeah, so this has only happened like maybe twice, maybe 3 times, but I'm gonna say twice. The most notable one, they've all been at, like, cons and stuff. There was this one time, like, literally a couple years ago, I was sitting at Mr. Creepypasta's booth. He and everyone else were, like, walking around or getting lunch or something, so I was manning the booth, and this girl, like, across the room locks eyes with me and she starts walking up to me. And I was like, is she walking over here? Oh, she's walking over here. She comes up and I'm like, hey, hi, like, I'm so sorry. Mr. Creepypasta will be back in a little bit. But did you want any merch? And she's just like, no, I came here for you. And I totally, I feel really bad. I totally took this the wrong way. I was like, oh, like in my head, I was like, I don't swing that way. I'm so sorry. Thank God I didn't say that because she was like, "Yeah, can I get your autograph?" And I was like, "Oh, oh my gosh, I didn't think that you would recognize me, but she did." And I was like, "Yes, of course, of course. Here, let me sign something for you." So that was very fantastic. 4, have you ever had an encounter with the demonic firsthand? I've had several, and counting, was wondering if you ever had any yourself. No, I have not, and I am so sorry that you have experienced that. I pray for protection over you as well as myself, that Jesus Christ will protect us from those things. 5, is mayonnaise an instrument? How about horseradish? I mean, technically, if you took the mayonnaise and baked it and it, like, stayed intact and you slapped on the mayonnaise, you could, like, make it a drum maybe, and therefore it would be percussion, which is an instrument. Horseradish? Yeah, I don't see why not. You could, if you tap on it, again, percussion, instrument, yeah. Mayonnaise and horseradish could be used as instruments. Thank you for all your hard work, Miss Giggles. I know people might say that YouTube is easy when in reality it's a lot of hard work and dedication. Thank you for all of that, and may the good Lord above bless you with everything your heart desires. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I could cry. Um yeah, you're totally right. It is a lot of hard work, especially trying to stay ahead of schedule, but it has been very rewarding and I'm very blessed. And thank you so much for your kind comment. WTH1812 says there are a lot of great sci-fi slash horror stories in the short stories of the 1940s and 1950s. I don't know where you get your stories, but those can be an extra source your voice and style could fit very well. I appreciate that so much. I really do. I'm not really the biggest fan of sci-fi. I like fantasy more, but I mean, I do appreciate that my voice seems versatile enough, and who knows, maybe like one day I'll do one of those. You never know. So, thank you. Rinku Star asks, "What is your favorite story in the Bible?" I really love Esther. I feel like lately I've been really liking Job though. If you're not familiar, obviously you should open the Bible and read it because I'm just paraphrasing here, but the story of Job is about a man who has like everything, like he's doing well, he's got a wife and kids, And it's fascinating because it's like the only conversation that God and Satan have in the Bible where the enemy is basically like, hey, like, can I mess Job up, and see if he still praises you? Can I like test him? And God goes, yeah, sure, you have my permission. So, like, he makes him sick. Job loses his house, he loses his kids. Like, his wife is like, why don't you curse God already? He goes through all this stuff. He loses like pretty much everything. And he just refuses to curse God or denounce God or anything. He still is like, no, like God's got me. God will bless me. God has me. Like I have God. I have all I need. So that's always been like really encouraging and inspiring to me. So love Esther. I feel like lately it is Job. I do love Job. And I've also been reading the gospel lately, and I really like that whole thing too. Just seeing how Jesus was like fully man and fully God. I just feel so hugged by him sometimes. What is your favorite fantasy class? I answered this earlier by Icy. I definitely like Bard, and I would be a Bard, so definitely love those. Who is your favorite metal band? I really like Get Scared and Avenged Sevenfold and Set It Off. Those are my favorite ones. Godslayer5422 asks, when can I see more Lily Madwip? I know, I'm so sorry. We also answered this one earlier as well. Whenever Mr. Creepypasta is ready, I will do them and we will get that out there for you guys. Who's pooping out there asks, how do you take care of your voice? Any routine? Oh man, buckle up. I do a lot to take care of my voice, especially if I'm in a musical. I really like lock in on those because I'm like, I'm not losing my voice on a show day. I can't do it. So, what I do to take care of my voice, I'm a big talker, so it's always a good reminder to get a lot of vocal rest and also to speak softly rather than just constant projection and everything. I put on a lot of Vicks Vapo Rub. I'm half Asian, it's practically the Asian American law. So I put a hefty amount of Vicks Vapo Rub on my throat and my chest before I go to bed. I gargle with warm water and sea salt. I used to gargle with hydrogen peroxide, and I heard that that was apparently not good. So I have not done that for a hot minute. Sometimes I'll just swallow honey. Other times I'll have like a shot of lemon juice. I like sour anyways. It kind of makes my voice feel crisp, but not too much because it could also really wreck your voice. I also have gone to use singer spray, which I've found really helps me maintain. I drink plenty of water. If I have it, in addition to honey, I will also swallow just a gob of honey loquat syrup. I'll be sucking on cough drops. Most teas don't work for me, but I've been finding lately that white tea does. I feel good about singing after I drink it. I also do ballet stretches, which just helps like warm up everything that I use to sing in my body. And I feel like that just helps take care of it. So yeah, that is my list of things that I do to take care of and maintain my voice. Timothy Boykin 9318 asks, how does it feel being a theater kid and what is your dream role? Feels pretty good, Timothy. My dream role still, I was just in this musical as a different character, but my dream role is definitely Joanna from Sweeney Todd. I would love to be Joanna. I'd also really like to be Phoebe from Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder and Lorraine from Back to the Future, the musical. Ooh, I would love to be those two. I'd also like to be Glinda. That would be really, really nice. Mr. Trudicole asks, favorite story you recorded? People always ask me this question. It never gets easier to answer because I keep doing stories. So it's hard to like, eventually you'll like forget the ones that you liked a lot because you've only done it like once or something. But I feel like the one that I think back to a lot that I really enjoyed is this one right here. I need help. My husband is being a complete gentleman and I think I'm in grave danger. I really, really liked doing that story. It was absolutely thrilling. So probably that one. Who would win in a fight between Abraham Lincoln and Nikola Tesla? I mean, like Nikola Tesla, like, yeah, he was a scientist, but like Abraham Lincoln was president. So, like, are we discounting that Abraham would have like a bunch of guys behind him to fight Nikola, or is it like just Abraham versus Nicola. I feel like if it was, well, no, even if it was just them, I feel like Abraham would, because he's got like that really tall hat, which he keeps his notes in, right? So what if like every time he needs to look down for like his next, I don't know, physical maneuver to beat Nicola, he could look into his hat, and then that in turn would distract Nicola. He'd be like, what are you doing looking in your hat? Where it would, like, I don't know, bonk him on the head. And then by that time that he has read all of that, he would punch Nicola or something. Also, like, Nikola Tesla is a scientist, right? So he's like a dork. He's like a nerd, you know? So, so yeah, Abraham, with that logic, Abraham would beat Nicola. Favorite video game? Right now it's Project Zomboid. I really like survival games because it's like playing Sims with stakes. So like Don't Starve and Ark Survival Evolved, I basically just play them like I would play The Sims. I just kind of run around and like get little things to decorate with and make like a little home out of. And I survive. But lately, to be fair, I have been playing Project Zomboid with the zombies turned off because I just want to go to all the malls without risking like dying and losing all the cool stuff. Vestigial Virtue 326 asks, question, you had a chance to write, produce, and star in a one-person show. What subject did you always want to explore but never got to? Oh man, probably being a detective. I've never been super squeamish, like gore doesn't really bother me. I don't really get scared of many things. So when I was younger, before I wanted to become an actress, I humored the idea of becoming a criminologist or like maybe a mortician or a coroner or a detective. I really liked the sound of detective though. But then, of course, when I became an actor, I was like, okay, I might not be able to be a detective, but maybe one day I'll get to act as a detective, and that could be kind of cool. I'd be like the Elle Woods of the detective world. So I would probably write, produce, and star as a monologuing detective who wasn't afraid to be feminine. And I would talk just like this. This would be my detective voice. As I sat there reading his question, I thought to myself, could I really do this? The answer was, well, I was far too cynical for that. But then again, Goonies never say die. You never know. Winning Abyss 5240 says, congratulations, champagne pop. Question 1, what inspired you to do horror storytelling? 13 years ago, Mr. Creepypasta and Creeps McPasta both commented on my videos, with the former saying, you have a really good voice. You should try creepypasta narrating. And now I'm here. Question 2, what episode in the Lily Mad Whip series was your favorite part? The first season is probably my favorite, but I believe it was the third season where, this is a spoiler alert, please don't listen to the rest of this if you are not totally caught up on season 3. There's a part where she learns her parents were killed, and what I was trying to do at the time was go in totally blind so I could experience the story with Lily, so to speak. This is not a very good actor thing. You should always read the script first so that you can really like anticipate what's coming up, so that everything in the beginning just ties in nicely. But I wanted to, you know, while I can experiment with something, that's what I did for Lily Madwhip. So when this piece of information was dropped on the character, it was also being dropped on me. And the reaction that I had on Mr. Creepypasta's channel was my natural reaction. Of course, I was playing it up a bit just for the drama and to give that to Lily, you know, put that into my performance. But a lot of that was my raw emotion and reaction. I had put myself in her shoes so much. It was absolutely devastating. But I think that that was probably my best performance so far in the series. Question 3, what is your favorite creepypasta series? This is gonna sound really egotistical. I actually really liked the Madison series by Unsettling Stories because they were weird and they were creepy, but they were also hysterical and they were just so much fun to do. I was so excited to do all of them. They were so ridiculous. They were so over the top. I just had a lot of fun with them. Graphtonic6607 asks, how's Mr. Creepypasta doing? He's doing good. He's been sending me a lot of Instagram reels, and I've been playing like those Game Pigeon Scrabble games with him and his wife over text. So yeah, I think he's doing good. And that's it for all your questions this time round, guys. Thank you guys so much for asking all these questions. I always enjoy seeing what people are curious about, and this was absolutely so much fun. I always love doing this. And again, thank you all so much for 14,000 subscribers. It's an absolute blessing. Thank you for listening to me rant and tangent on and talk for forever. Really appreciate this. Can't wait to do another Q&A. And yeah, thank you guys so much for your continued support, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys are all having happy holidays and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.